Morning, it's Friday morning and we're just off to drop off parcels. If you don't know who I am, my name's Kirsten and I buy and sell vintage, antiques, collectibles, secondhand, anything that I think that can sell online or in my antique booths in antique centres. So we're just about to drop off parcels. We've got to go to the post office, so it means a bit of a longer trek. So we're going to do a few odd jobs while we're out. Sun's shining at the moment, so fingers crossed it stays dry. Home and it's a relief. We only had to go to the post office to drop off every chemist to pick up prescription, and then Burgh Antiques. I just wanted to check on the shelving and stuff like that, but it felt like a lot. We got to Spilsby fine. We thought we'd have a little look in the charity shops. We've been watching UK vintage reseller, is that what she's called, or vintage seller, Pound Girl, Cheryl, recently on YouTube, and seeing her charity shop pickups. And I thought, oh, I'm going to go and have another look. I keep saying how expensive the charity shops are around me, but I thought maybe I'm just not looking properly, maybe I'm just not seeing the right stuff, but they're just extortionate. They're ridiculous. They had one of them had like just an art picture print, mass-produced print, in a badly framed frame, and the frame was all knocked and battered. £7.50. Just everything I looked at was just extortionately priced. Not extortionate, but I'm not even talking as a reseller. I mean value for money for somebody who's, you know, looking for themselves. It's just, they must sit on stuff so much. I feel like the policy of trying to get as much for the money as they can doesn't really work. I don't know. They've got their own business policy, I suppose. But I feel like they would do a lot better if they made things cheap, sold things quickly, got more in, sold it on, rather than waiting and waiting and waiting for the highest price. But anyway, then I went to the chemist, had to wait half an hour for Darren's prescription. That was fun. Screaming babies and people coughing and stuff. And then we went to drop off at the garage, and it was chock-a-block with big lorries and vans and stuff like that. So we're very relieved to be home. And I'm going to make us some lunch. We've got some sourdough in the freezer. Just put some in the toaster. You heard it pop. And we're going to have that with some slices of burlesque tomatoes from the garden. Thinly sliced. Drizzle of olive oil. Salt, pepper. Bit of parmesan on top. Very nice. We're having that. So I'll have that. Take a few deep breaths and see what the rest of the day brings. So there we go. And then we're going to have them with these pipers. Have you tried these? Wild thyme and rosemary. They're so nice. Lunch has been had. I've done a short TikTok reel, whatever. So that's another job. I've done one for ages. So that's another job done. I've got some thank yous to say. Thank you to Lisa, Carla, Ali, Heather, Laura for ordering on my website. Really do appreciate it. They've all been sent off. So you should have got them by the time this video comes out. You should be there. The other thing I wanted to mention is I'm having a bit of a blast on my website again, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to clear some stuff. So I'm adding more and more stuff to the clearance section. So if you do go on my website for other stuff, have a quick look in the clearance. You might see something you like, cheap as chips. Now, I brought out a selection of things here. A few of these bits have actually been on before, but then they've been to Burgh, and then because I've closed, you know, condensed my section there, I've brought stuff back again. So I'll quickly show you the bits that you've already seen, but they're back on. And then there's some new bits as well. Where shall I start? Shall we start with a bit of Silvac? So we've got this classic Silvac vase, pebble effect, slightly abstract sort of shape, quite a tall one. It does have some crazing, which you often get in older ceramics. If you don't know what crazing is, it's basically very fine cracks in the glaze. It's not cracks through the ceramics themselves. It's just in the glaze. You just get it over time. And let me see if I can find a bit that's going to pick it up on camera. Because it's not too bad. Probably down there. You'll probably see it the better. Don't know if that's going to pick it up. It's just like very, very fine cracks in the glaze. And it's called crazing. So there's that one. Bear in mind with bigger stuff, I do have to add on a little bit extra to the price just to cover the extra postage that it's going to cost me to send. So that's the first item. The second is this lovely studio pottery jug with a lovely big green swirl on the top, on the side. It's called Moffat Pottery, Scotland. I remembered it was Moffat, but I didn't remember it was Scotland. Lovely jug. It has got a line there. Can you see that? It feels like there's a little gap in the glaze, but it's not been chipped and repaired or anything. So it's just obviously where there was a little gap in the glaze there. So that's that one. Pretty. Now, do any of you know Honiton Pottery? This is back where I used to live, down in Devon, the next town along. It was Honiton, and they were famous for their Honiton pottery. And it's very similar to some of the pool pottery that you get. Sometimes when you see pool pottery and Honiton pottery, you see, well, there's a real similarity. It's a nice little one, ideal for little short flowers. There is the mark underneath. So that one's cute. Now these two are ones that were on my website before. I think I had them separately as individuals. I've put them on as a pair this time. They're actually from Barbados. Cute little coffee cups. They are quite small, but they're really, really lovely. You see that design on there? Really nice. So there's those two. Here's another one that was on before that I've put back on again. This lovely little candlestick with the daisies. Isn't that cute? Whoa, nearly dropped it. That's a cutie. This is that one. Another little jug. A little pretty little blue one. It's quite plain, but it's a nice shade of blue. Cornflower, I'd call that. It's got a remainder of my sticker on underneath. Royal something. Can't quite make out what that says. If I can work it out, I'll let you know. But that's really, really sweet. A lovely shade of blue, that one. A planter. I have shown you this, but I don't think it's been on my website. Beautiful spotty planter, hand painted. It is signed underneath. If you can work out what that says, fair play to you. Just a really nice ceramic planter for your indoor house plants. So that one, I do love that. Anything that's that blue and white, basically, although that's sort of cream and white rather than blue and white. This is just a sort of, I'm going to put this on for £1. It was just something that I found in amongst our stuff, and I was like, oh, does anybody want it? Towel clips, £1 if you're interested. Here's another thing that was on my website that I took off for a short period. A porridge spurtle. Do you remember this? For stirring your porridge. It's got its little, and it's even got a recipe for porridge on the back. So it's a Scottish souvenir, and it's in a box like that. There's that. Something else that's Scottish is this tin. How lovely is that? With the band on the front there. Kemp's finest quality shortbread with this tartan pattern all the way around the side, and that's the back. It has got some scratches and stuff on it, but it's really nice. That's the inside. So I'll show you that again, but you see there's some marks here and then there's some scratches and stuff, but overall a really lovely tin, especially if you can get it to stand up that way. You have to prop it with some other things at either side. I've got this, if you've got a selection of necklaces and you don't know what to do with them, you can hang them on here, and then you can put your earrings just in the little dip bit there at your bedside. It's that one. That's the underneath. Some more random things. So tarot cards. There's already one set of tarot cards on there. I think it's QR tarot cards or something. But I got a couple of others as well. So these ones are £8 each. So this one says deck of 78. This design tarot deck has been originally made by Pamela Coleman Smith under the instruction of Arthur Edward Waite. We've digitised the card graphics to bring you crisp, vectorised images on quality card paper. That's that one. And this one, it does have like Amazon type stickers on it. Again, the same Arthur E. Waite. So very similar. So there's those two. This is a book that I read and I really, really enjoyed it. It's like a self-help thing. You Are a Badass. Basically, it's about valuing yourself and not always valuing yourself. It's a really easy read. It's got nice big short chapters, but yeah, it's just something about it makes you feel, boosts your confidence a bit. So if that is something that's of interest, that'll be up on there. And then I've got a couple of these kits. So this one says Tapestry, Twillies of Stamford. I'm not sure what flower that is. It looks, no, I was going to say poinsettia, but I don't think that is. That is what it looks like. So there's that one. And then this one says Long Stitch. I don't know. I don't do these kind of things. Starter kit with the geese. There's all the threads and everything in there. So there's that one. And that is it for now. So I realised I was really negative about charity shops earlier. But I don't know. I just kind of think if they get given that stuff, they should just move it. I think I've been to so many charity shops where I've seen signs outside saying, sorry, we can't take any more stuff. You think, oh, why can't you just sell it really quick? But anyway, they know better than me, so don't listen to my random ranting. Next week, we've got a friend coming to stay. So we've decided to have a bit of time off. So there's a friend from a very, very long time ago, and we used to have like weekends away with him and stuff. We haven't done that for a while. We've been to Guernsey with him. We've been to Amsterdam, Dublin. Can't think where else. But he lives right down south. So he's making the trek up north to see us. So we thought we'd better take some time off. So apart from the minimum of packing parcels, sorry, the two dogs are both sat down here because Darren's just sat there cutting the hedge, so they're both watching him. Apart from the bare minimum of packing parcels, we're going to take time off. Now, we're going to be going out and about, so I might try and get a bit of video while we're out and about, but I don't know whether I'll get a vlog together. So if I'm absent for a week, I apologise, but I'm taking a bit of a holiday. I know. I need it, but we both do. Although the last few days, I've been feeling really, really chilled. And I've got on with loads of stuff in the garden. So one of the big compost bays, I turned that over into the one next to it, did the whole thing by myself. I know. What else did I do? I did a few cuttings, but I realised that I've not done enough yet, so I need to get out and do more. I would take you out in the garden today, but it's too windy, so I won't be able to video out there. I took a few, me and Darren cut down the big clematis, jasmine, honeysuckle thing. Darren did the hedge cutting and I collected it all up. And while I was collecting it, I was like, oh, cuttings. So I took some cuttings quickly of the jasmine and the honeysuckle. But I want to do a lot more cuttings, so I need to get on with that in the next week or two. Somebody recommended that I order a Sutton's seed catalogue, so I did that the other day, so I'm hoping that will arrive sometime soon so I can get excited about seeds. What else have I got to tell you? I've just been busy in the garden. I've been in the field next door again collecting more cow poo. You'll be pleased to hear. It's like my latest obsession. I've been out 3 times now. First time I was chucking it all into the big bay, the big sort of compost heap we've got in the far corner. And then I went and collected a couple of big buckets and put it on the compost heap that I'd just turned over. And then yesterday, I went out and collected another couple of bucket loads. Was that yesterday? Yeah, I think it was. And one of the veg patches, we sort of pulled out anything that was still in there. And put a layer of cow poo down. Well, this is exciting, isn't it? And then we put a load of topsoil on top, watered it all in, and then we've put a frame on the top, because unfortunately when you've got dogs like ours, they'll be digging it out. So we've got this frame that we can put on top to stop them going in there. So we're putting that one to bed. Oh, we did then put a load of like mustard seed and stuff on top, so that might germinate and grow, but that's not for us to harvest, that's just for us to like use as green manure. So we'll see. fingers crossed. But we got a lot to do in the whole garden. We've got 3 big bags of topsoil out there to help us improve the big borders, but unfortunately there's not a lot of life in that topsoil, so we've got to somehow add some compost to it. But we don't have a lot of compost because all the compost that we have been trying to make is too dry and it hasn't gotten down because it didn't have much rain, and and we can't afford to go out and buy bags and bags of compost. That's just too expensive. So if you've got any ideas, I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and it was this guy who was like a soil expert, and he was saying that traditionally when you grew vegetables in rows and you'd have a big gap in between your different vegetables, that isn't actually that good for the soil. You should pack as much into there as possible because all the plants actually feed the soil with various different nutrients. So the more different plants you can have in amongst your vegetables, the better, but also not too much space, because all that's doing is like letting things evaporate and not introducing anything. So I said to Darren, wow, that's a good excuse for me to grow more flowers, isn't it? Because I can just put loads of flowers in between all the veg. So that's exciting. I've got an excuse to make more flowers next year. Right, I need to go and check on my seeds and my cuttings, make sure they're not drying out. Oh, and I need to tackle a massive pile of apples because I need to make some more applesauce, obviously. Darren's obviously been in watered already. You can see where this one got fried by the sun the other day. And they've got all droopy, so that's what obviously got his attention. Yeah, I don't know what's going to survive out of this lot. This is looking all right, this one. If I can get 1 in each pot, then I'm pleased. You know, if 2 or 3 die, but 1 survives, that's fine. My plan next year for seeds is not to do so many at once. So for each type of seed, I'm going to do like a row, I think, in one of these really small. We got these from the nursery that we sometimes buy plants from. They were just giving them away for free. So I thought, do you know what, if I fill it with compost and then do a row for each seed type, and then, I don't know, a month or 6 weeks later, I can set off a load more. And that way I'll get like a succession, and maybe things will spread out their flowering then. I don't know, it's just a thought at the moment. I've got all these apples inside as well to do. Better get on with that at some point. I'm having to do all my talky bits standing up because my final little tripod thing died a death. So I can't sit down and do it. If I faffed around moving everything to fit this big tripod thing in there, but I'm not going to. I think I'm going to finish work for today. Skive off. It's only 2:45, but I'm on my holidays. Got to clean and tidy the house before our friend comes, and then yeah, holidays. I don't know if we're going to Car Boot tomorrow or not because forecast is like that, so we're going to wait and see later. Now, some suggestions, please. I bought these a while back. Do you remember? It's classic gift wraps, but look at these. How pretty are these patterns? Look at that. Can you see that? And I'm thinking that I could do something crafty with these. In fact, let me make the most of my fancy tripod. Yeah, so I thought I'd like to do something crafty with these. So obviously they're supposed to be gift wraps, but they just feel like they're too nice. They are quite sort of soft, if you know what I mean. Look at that one. I just think they're so nice. You got any ideas of what I could use them for? Look at that one. Ah. That one's nice. See, that one's come out. Oh, it's double-sided as well. Oh no, it folds out. So you've got a biggish sheet for each one. It is quite thin though. So I think it would rip quite easily. Yeah, so if you've got any ideas, I mean, obviously I can use it for gift wrap, but I don't know, it just seems so nice. So there's that. And then I've got these that I bought from the car boot. Somebody was just selling off some offcuts of wood cut into stars, and I thought they were kind of cool. So, sort of thought I could paint them, but any ideas what I could do with those? And then, of course, there is Q4, or Christmas, as it is to everybody else. Now, I know it's only September, but when you run a business in retail, you have to think about this now. So I've got a load of board games and Christmas stuff put away for eBay, but I've also got things that I've put away for my website. So I've still got some of the decorations that you saw last year, but I'll bring them out again because they're still gorgeous. I've got a few other bits and bobs that I've bought, some art stuff and things that you might be interested in. I have tried to keep some nice stuff away to one side so that I'm not just picking out all the best bits each week to show you, because I'm going to run out, aren't I? I've still got loads of stuff. Don't you worry about that. But going into winter, apart from the fact that it's obviously running up to Christmas, it actually slows down as the car boots start to finish, as the weather gets poorer, as we put the garden to bed. We'll have more time, and I'm looking forward to doing some more crafty bits, some more painting and stuff like that. I just need to sort out the lighting so that I've got better lighting to work under. But yeah, so let me know about Christmas. I know when you're saying that, I'll say this, and half of you will say, no, put it on now, and then half of you will say, don't want to see it till December. And I can't please all of the people all of the time, so I will do it in a couple of weeks or so. And then it's there, and you don't need to look at it if you don't want to. Right, I think I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for your support. Leaving me thumbs ups and positive comments really does help the algorithms. And if you want to click on the little notification bell, it doesn't cost you anything. It just means that when my videos come up, you get a notification, and that way you don't miss them, because sometimes YouTube doesn't promote my videos and then they'll get lost in the ether. So if you're bothered about that, then please do click on that notification bell. There's links to all my social media, my website, there's the addresses of the antique centres that I sell in, all in my description box below, if that's of interest. Darren will be getting on with stuff in the garden. We've been really busy this last few months, but we've started really cracking on with stuff in the garden, and he's got some projects over winter. So if you want to see what he's going to be doing, then please go and subscribe to Darren and Kirsten's Garden Adventures, and you'll see his projects in the garden. And in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and I will see you soon.